Hey, I'm Will Saris. I'm an actor and a YouTube host, and I'm here at the Barnum Museum asking people, who is Barnum to you? And I'm here today with Bill Derry. Bill, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I grew up in Connecticut. I have a drama background, and I'm a teacher, and I was working in a school library and public library. That's sort of my background. I'm retired right now.
Now, you have a personal connection to the Barnum Museum, and you also have a more longer-term connection to the Barnum Museum.
Well, I'll start with the personal, which is my husband is the assistant director, John Swing, and but the story about Barnum comes from before I met John, which is over 36 years ago. A friend of mine was an antique collector, and he had a good friend who was into artifacts and curious items, and his name was Ben Ortega, who happened to be working at the museum at that point in the early 80s. And he knew I was interested in just strange things and curiosities. And he said, would you like a personal tour of the museum? Because I have the keys and we can go down. And so we did. And I was just intrigued by all of the, I remember seeing the mummy and finding out more about Tom Thumb and Ang and Chang and things that I only knew Barnum through the circus, I think, at that point. So it doesn't end there. I ended up going to NYU and taking some drama courses. And the first one that I took, I had to do a final project. And they gave me a list of choices. And one of them was P.T. Barnum. And the professor explained how significant Barnum was in creating the whole idea of celebrity and changing theater, actually, so that families, it was at that point in the 1800s when he had his museum, not a lot of people felt comfortable going to theater, and it was limited. So I chose Barnum as my topic. And I thought, well, I liked video recording. I was always into technology, and I thought I'll make a video playing Barnum, and I will find some of the artifacts that I can. And anyway, I went to both the museum and I went to the public library. And they were incredibly generous with both time and allowing me access to these primary source documents. And I had that old bulky VHS camera that I wore something on my side to carry around the unit. And then I had the camera on my shoulder. And I laid things out all over the floor, posters of Tom Thumb, circus posters, pictures of the early American Museum. So got those all done, came up with my script. The museum allowed me the same. I came in here, I brought in lights, and eventually using the store cable at the time in New Haven, they had a community access. So you could borrow, well, I didn't need to borrow a camera because I had it from my work, but you could use their editing equipment. So I had to kind of learn it, but that was a great way to learn on a project. And I put together a piece that showed on community access. I brought it all into New York to show them as my final project. But the beauty of it was that I learned so much about, and I read his book, his autobiography. So it was all of a sudden I went from zero to a lot of information about this man and how significant an impact he had on culture. Not just museum life, but the way people interacted and went to public events.
Wow. Now it's been a while, obviously, since you did that. What was one thing that struck you about him? Was there anything maybe that was very personal?
Well, I was surprised to find out that he was a man of opposites. He was a prohibitionist,
right?
But he wasn't. He was after he drank quite a bit. He had to become a heavy drinker, and then he became the opposite of that, and started a movement. And people would sign a temperance or agreement of not drinking at some of his exhibitions. The humbug really intrigued me because of just general advertisement. Where is the edge? When is it all right? And he, with his statement that his goal was to make others happy, trickery was a part of it.
Right.
And in the end, his goal was to have them see the humor. Of course, he was making money. The other part was how many times he lost everything. And with perseverance and basically a sense of strong business, he picked everything up and moved forward again. So that was something for me, because I kept sort of changing things. You know, I didn't get a sabbatical from the New Haven Public Schools when I wanted to get this PhD in drama. So what did I do? I completely quit the schools. It's like, what do you do how do you rework yourself?
Right.
I remember having a contest once, and it was, guess what Bill Derry will be doing in 5 months contest. And that was after I quit that job. And from it came a job as a software technical writer in Bridgeport. It was intellectual software. And who I didn't even know it was really a job at that point. And why would I get it when I don't have the technical skills of
Right.
So anyway, the connection to Barnum there is perseverance, change is kind of important, and meet the needs of the people, even if they don't know what they are.
Right.
You know, create the needs.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
That's really cool. Who is he to you? What's the thing that strikes you the most?
He is such a major figure in so many areas of culture, besides obviously the circus. My big thing is play. Even when I was a teacher, play was what I liked to do and what I tried to do with kids. And I think he played with us. I think he played with the world. I think that the movie, the recent movie, really focused on that element of creativity and creation to the point where it's not quite the real story. But they got the essence. They got that playful, creative, powerful, moving piece that he did over a pretty short period of time. I mean, what he accomplished, or the impact he had, was pretty great.
Do you think the museum can help people kind of see that for themselves here as well?
Yes, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I was working in the charrette, you know, where the visioning was taking place. The vision for the new museum is, I think they really hit the essence of Barnum. It will open up Barnum in a way that people weren't aware of, I think, and also make them think and be curious and question where the world is going. You know, they'll look at the past, where it's come from, but also where it's going.
Tell me about Pachakacha and how it factors into the Barnum.
Okay. Pachakacha means chit-chat in Japanese. It was a project that we did when I was at the Westport Library. And when we were thinking, how could a Pachakacha continue, we realized, well, Barnum is synonymous with Bridgeport. Barnum sort of used people's stories, especially the more unique, odd stories, to grow his new venues. So we thought the Pachakacha would fit very well with the Barnum Museum. But you can't do a Pachakacha from one organization. When you get a license for Pachakacha, it's for a city or a town. So we needed to apply for Bridgeport to get the Pachakacha. So that's why City Lights Art Gallery got involved with Suzanne Ketchmar. That's why Lauren Coakley-Vincent from the Downtown Special Services District got involved, because now you've got the business, the arts, and this incredible visionary from 1800s who has a lot to offer today in the Barnum Museum. So that's how that came to be. Now we have one, you know, come on Wednesday this week. So we're all excited about the 13 stories that are going to be presented. So it's a lot of fun, and it creates community and networking. That's what a Pachakacha is designed to do. And that's what his museum was designed to do. You know, bring people, make them think, get them talking, networking.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Who is Barnum to You? Who is Barnum to You is brought to you by the Barnum Museum, by me, Will Saris, and is produced by myself, Rui Pinot, and Tom Victor. Please go to barnum-museum.org, where you can learn more about the Barnum Museum. And if you don't mind, click on that donate button. Every donation helps the museum. Thanks for watching.